Well, thank you for joining us on Business and Economy now, and joins us to talk about the oil and gas sector, reforming the oil and gas sector, what needs to be done. Is a chartered accountant and a petroleum engineer, BALA. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning. Let's begin this way. How would you rate your overview analysis of the oil and gas sector in Nigeria? Any different in terms of operation from what we have in other countries?
Well, generally disappointing, generally mind-boggling. The management of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria has placed Nigerians on a negative pedestal as far as the international community is concerned. When you look at the Committee of Nations of OPEC also, it has shown Nigeria to be a clueless country as far as managing its God-given resources, or that resource you call, a non-renewable resource called fossil fuel. Because when you look at all other OPEC countries, virtually everything works. The electricity works, that means you can generate power, right? The oil and gas industry, or the refined products are always available there. They get all the light distillates. And when you talk about light distillates, you're just talking basically about LPG, liquid petroleum gas. You talk about petrol, you talk about naphtha. They all have this. Then they also enjoy the middle distillates, which are things like what? Diesel, aviation fuel, and jet fuel, and the rest. Then they enjoy also what we have called heavy distillates. Heavy distillates are things like petroleum wax, right? Bitumen. Then you have what we call feed for petrochemicals, right? From where now you produce your plastics, you produce your detergents, you produce your elastomers and other things you need, So when you look at it, if you look at just the principle of refining is refining. It's basic chemistry all over the world. The principle of refining uses what we call fractional distillation. And it uses temperature differentials, which means at a particular temperature, you will get your gas, you will get your petrol, you will get everything till bitumen. And you get all these ones if you internally refine and domesticate. For not doing that alone, Nigeria is off the track of economic growth and development. And the only thing that has caused this is because of planlessness. It tells you that your leaders have not been generational and futuristic in their thinking, so knowing that the oil and gas industry has been in Nigeria or has been developed more than 50 or 60 years ago.
Well, having said all this, where do we stand with subsidy and refineries?
As far as subsidy is concerned, as we speak today, most people talk about subsidy, and it depends on the side of the divide that they are. And that's why sometimes there is a saying that it's better for you not to have information than to have half information or to be half-baked. Because if that half information is the negative one you have, you will only be working with the negative thing and you will collapse with it. A lot of people don't understand that subsidy on its own is a universal concept, right? And any universal concept that works all over the world and is failing in Nigeria simply tells you that the problem is not with the concept, but the problem is with Nigeria and Nigerians. The principle of gravity works everywhere. The principle of convex and concave lens works everywhere. So if it is being misapplied in Nigeria, it is not the concept, but it's the misapplication that brings about the difference between economies that survive and economies that collapse in Nigeria. So the concept in Nigeria is being mismanaged, is being abused. But you need subsidy to be able to bring a fragile economy like Nigeria out of the economic woods. If you look at the minimum or average income or minimum wage of an average Nigerian today, is less than $100 per month. 18,000 naira, I can tell you, is less than $100. And it is in 18,000 naira that a man or a person is supposed to take care of himself, the spouse, an average of 4 children. You pay medical bills, you pay transportation, and you pay educational bills. Is it possible without subsidy? it simply tells you that if you don't subsidize, Nigerian economy will collapse. The same thing with your manufacturing sector.
Let me hold you there a little bit.
If you don't subsidize, they will collapse. So the concept is excellent. The management and application is being abused and bastardized in Nigeria.
But having hold on a little bit, Sabena. Having said that, what then is the impact of the subsidy? Because a lot of people, a lot of thoughts have called for the removal of subsidy, and in some quarter they've called it a fraud. So how would you respond to that?
Those who are just saying remove subsidy didn't put it in the context. The first question, like I asked, is this: is subsidy a good thing or a bad thing for any economy, even a developed economy? Subsidy is an excellent concept, right? And what is subsidy? Subsidy simply means the government of a given country, or even the management of a corporation, of a company, will make sure citizens, or in this case employees, enjoy something that ordinarily they cannot afford, and the company takes off a particular amount, and they pay little. Even in companies, we see that a company can decide to bring cars and say, okay, this car is 10 million, or 2 million. But if you can pay 1,500, we give it to you as an employee to cushion your transportation problem or logistics problem. That extra that they took and paid is called subsidy. In the case of Nigeria, it's the same. The way Nigeria is today, like I said, the economy is too weak. The currency of Nigeria is too weak. The average income of an average Nigerian is too poor. The health condition and environmental conditions are so poor that you need to support them with that subsidy. So the question is this: when you want to take off that load so that they pay little, and through that your industries will grow up, right, and people will be able to pay their bills, how do you apply it? So the question now is, how should subsidy be applied? Many people who are saying remove subsidy in Nigeria, do you know what they are saying? They are saying that, okay, free the market, right? Let everybody be importing and be bringing. And what I'm telling you, that is the first trap that will destroy and kill the Nigerian economy. And the answer is simple. If you say let everybody be importing and be bringing, have you forgotten that your local currency is weak? They will bring it at an international market price. By the time they put the add-ons, you are now saying because everybody brings it, international price is always higher than local price.
Okay,
let me round it up, because it's an important question. So by the time you bring it in, right, it simply means your people will continue to be in abject poverty. And
you're already living below the poverty line.
No, that's why I told you already how much your minimum income is. Then as long as you bring these refined products and you bring them to the companies or the industries, by the time these food processing and material processing and manufacturing processing companies start using the diesel and petrol to run their plant, at the end of the day, their average unit product cost will be more expensive than Asian or international goods. That means you will kill them. And you live in a country where even if you say import, your central bank can wake up overnight without due consultation and devaluate or depreciate your local currency.
Okay,
forgetting that people actually took loans to
let's also talk more
things
on this subsidy issue. Angola recently removed subsidy from, in their own country. What lessons are there to learn for Nigeria?
There is no lessons to learn in that country apart from negativity. That is a country where its people are in real abject poverty. You can go there actually and see 1 or 2 or 10 billionaires. But what about the other 99.9%? They are in abject poverty. That is one of the most expensive country in the continent of Africa.
So are you saying that subsidy should remain?
Subsidy should remain. That is the only thing that you need to put life into an aggregate economy. A local and a weak economy like Nigeria. What countries do is this: locked up your economy, right? And when you locked up your economy, provide for your local companies to grow, right? Subsidize for your people to be able to go to work. And first of all, ask yourself, why is it that in all the other opaque nations, apart from Nigeria, their unit cost per liter of whether PMS or diesel is very, very low compared to Nigeria. That is question number one. Then second question is this: why is it that when you go to all these other OPEC nations, right, you notice that these major companies or major oil companies that you call IOCs, which is international oil companies, why is it that they have refineries there? You go there, you see refinery, you see Chevron, you see Mobil, you see Total, and they are still selling cheaper there in those countries. But the same companies don't want to have refineries in Nigeria. The concept and the reason is very simple, right? The countries where those OPEC countries and other countries that you have these multinationals, all they are telling them is the local crude you need for your local refineries will be given to you at a reasonable discount. What is discount? Is it not subsidy? They will give it to you at a reasonable price, but it is for local consumption.
Okay,
that's
from
what they do.
the earlier analogy you gave, you said that the government, the way we manage subsidy here.
And the planlessness.
Yes. So how would you recommend, what kind of plans, what kind of management structure would you want to see put in place for the management of subsidy?
Very easy, very simple, and an implementable strategy. One is this: for all those who, first of all, you must do something, or you must create a gestation period for this plan to be implemented. No matter how good it is, it's just like no matter how sound a child is, you must give him that chance for him to start from year 1 to probably year 4 or year 5 or year 6, depending on whether he's reading basic art courses or engineering or medicine, and the person graduates and becomes strong. So this strategy, if you create the gestation period of either 1 year or 2 years or 18 months, it will work. The first thing is this: the concept of refining locally must be done. Then all those that would want to have local refineries, encourage them, and you must sell to them at a discounted amount.
So you're saying that building refineries will make up for importing fuel into the country?
You don't need to import. You don't need to import. If anybody needs to import, you give him condition. You can never import and it will come here and be higher. But let me explain to you how and why. If I want to have refineries, right, whether government refineries, joint partnership or private refinery, I will sell it to you at a local rate. And when I sell it to you at a local rate, when you refine it, it is going to be for local consumption and at local price. That is condition number one. And that is why all the other OPEC nations, you see these companies are selling cheaper there also, because it's at local rate. Then secondly, you must have a logistic and a network of distribution. You don't need tankers leaving Sokoto, Kaduna, or Yola coming to Lagos. That is a misapplication. All you need are trains and wagons. This is what is obtainable all over the world, even including countries that do not have this crude oil. What you need is very simple. You have one train. One train can pull about 50 wagons, and those 50 wagons are more than 300 trailers. So what you need is, first of all, from the oil well or wellhead, you will get because we have the crude oil already down the grounds, right? It's something that is within Nigeria. From the oil well, you get the crude oil from the wellhead in Naira. You take it to the tank farms in Naira. From the tank farms, you move them to the refineries through pipelines. Or even if you want to transport them, you transport them through trains and wagons. You don't need tankers. You do that to the refineries also in Naira. Process in Naira. Distribute or market in Naira.
You said something earlier about passing the products through pipelines. Knowing very well that we're going through a lot of pipeline vandalism and all thefts.
Wait. Okay, so if vandalism is a bad thing, you will run away from doing the correct thing. You fight corruption. Criminality is something you will fight. Criminality is a monster. But let me explain. Like from the refineries also, you refine and you distribute everything in Naira. Immediately you do that, first of all these exchange rate differentials, depreciation of the Naira, devaluation, monetary policy rate and cash reserve ratio indices are eliminated. Everything is Naira-nized.
But
right?
do you think that
That is how it works. This is how the concept works. If Nigeria runs away from universal concept, it is Nigeria that will suffer.
But if we have more refineries working, do you think we still need subsidy for government to pay subsidy for us?
You see, let me tell you.
Now that everything, there will be nothing like differential rates and exchange rate, and everything will be done in naira, because that's what the market has claimed.
Let me tell you, there will be subsidy. The only thing is the subsidy is not done to you directly, the consumer, but that reduction that is made to the refinery or to the owner of the refinery, that is the subsidy. Or you don't get what we're saying? If the price of crude oil is $60 per barrel on the international market, and it is given to you as $40 because you need to refine, and we agree on a price that you will sell, not but the other internal logistics and taxes, that one will be added on. That is where template comes. When instead of giving it to you at 60, you are giving at 40, what do you call that differential? That is the subsidy to you. You get the point. But at the end of the day, everything will be Naira-nized. Do you know what some people are criticizing? And that's why I said half information sometimes can be dangerous. Some people are now saying, okay, if you refine it locally, the neighboring countries, it will be more cheaper than the ones of neighboring countries, and all the refined product will be stolen. And that's why I keep saying again, if you have a failure in your internal security and border security, will you say control measures and how to protect? The concept of controlling borders and securities don't work? It simply means your security agents are traitors and betrayers and disloyal people to your country. All I'm trying to say is this: things that work all over the world, if we come to our own country and they are not working, instead of addressing the problem, we want to run away. Like now, if you provide this thing, and even if a liter is 10 naira per liter, now you can protect your borders and make sure your local industries grow. That simply means when you supply that to all these manufacturing and processing industries, their unit cost per product will be cheap, and any imported good, whether from Asia, cannot compete. You lock up economies and grow them. Okay, but and another thing, let me emphasize, the local crude you will give to all these refiners, local refiners, to encourage them, whether they are private refineries or they are owned by these major oil companies or they are owned by the government of Nigeria. OPEC does not tamper with that. That is how to take care of your internal and local needs. So if you need foreign exchange, supply the quantity you need to supply to meet up with OPEC quota and make your what? Your dollars, and boost your external reserve.
Interesting. But let's also take a look at some components of the oil and gas sector. It seems that Nigeria is concentrating on the crude alone, but there are other components of the sector that can be utilized. What lessons can we learn from the America's shale gas, applying it on our own oil and gas sector so that we can begin to see some of these improvements?
You see, the concept of running the oil and gas industry is never as complex as anybody has said it. I will address your issue straight away. And that was why, first of all, Buhari himself said, all this noise about subsidy, I'm confused. Buhari said he is confused. Why did Buhari say he is confused? Because he was once a federal commissioner. He has run this same oil and gas industry. The same him, Buhari said, was this not the same thing I called Professor Tamino David West and we were doing? We brought the crude oil, we checked our capacity need, we refined this thing. Did Professor Tam David West read anything on petroleum engineering or refining technology? He was and is still a professor of virology. Did Dora Akunyili read anything on information management? Did she go to communication school to be an effective petroleum minister? The answer is no. Just get people of integrity and put there. It's as simple as that. All you need to do, back to your question now, all you need to do to address this thing is to make sure you internally domesticate. And when you internally domesticate, you get everything to yourself. That, like the components you are talking, you classify them into three. light components, middle components, and heavy components. The light components are like the liquid petroleum gas or cooking gas, which you need in Nigeria. The other one is you need the petrol, you need the naphtha, you need the diesel, you need the aviation fuel, right? Then the heavy components, which I said are feed for petrochemicals. You know, gas alone, knowing that we unbundle NEPA, and when we were unbundling NEPA, we predicated everything on the supply of what? Gas. That simply means if you have gas, your gencos will effectively do what? Generate. Then you have your transmission company should effectively do what? Transmit. And your distribution companies or discos will distribute. The reason why these things are not working is we have what we call economic vampires.
So how do we
on the economic side? Then on the political side, you have what you call political pathogens. Anything that is pathogenic is poisonous. So if you go to other countries, they fight those who want to destroy the economy. You don't run away from them.
Okay, just because
please,
of our time.
I was just going to ask one question.
Right.
Please, just not to waste our time. What I'm concerned about this petroleum industry bill.
Yes.
That has not been passed. What is causing the delay?
First of all, what is causing the delay? We have three things, three key items, you know, and they are very simple. But before I tell you why we are having the delay, you need to understand that in Nigeria today, we are supposed to have passed that petroleum industry bill, subject to likely amendments, because we have enough oil and gas journalists, enough oil and gas editors, enough oil and gas engineers, enough oil and gas lawyers, enough oil and gas accountants, enough oil and gas environmentalists. That simply means all what that our lawmakers need to do is to do what? Hand over this PIB to these experts to look at the pockets of these sections, solve them, analyze them, brainstorm up amongst themselves. Then we give it to the lawmakers. Their own is to make law. They will read it, ask a couple of questions, have it clarified, and pass it into law. But there have been three things and possibly four that have been holding the petroleum industry bill. One is people are questioning the powers of the minister. Good. Secondly, people are talking about the host community fund, right? Then frontier exploration and likely tax regime or fiscal regimes in the PIB, right?
All right.
But let me talk on the power of the minister. Every country you go to in this world, after a president and a vice president, the minister for defense is a powerful person. The minister for finance of that country is always a powerful person. And the minister for energy, in our own case, the minister for petroleum, they are always powerful people. So don't say we want to reduce the power of these people. That means you are still running from the concept. It simply means look for Nigerians with the requisite technical credentials and allow them to occupy these positions. People that are not bankrupt or suffering from moral insolvency. That's all you need. Therefore, the incoming regime, there are key things that they need to address in the oil and gas
because that's what exactly I want to rounding up now. What would your advice be if you're to be in the team or those who will be advising the incoming government on reforming the oil and gas sector? What would that be?
On reforming, and I will tell the president.
And not only the oil and gas sector, as in advising them, also concerning the PIB bill.
Yes, I will do.
It's also causing a lot of
I will do that because it's the same planlessness that has destroyed NAFCON, National Fertilizer Company.
Let's just make it fast because.
So let me just tell you. One, first of all, the subsidy is short term, right? Nigeria should give us 12 to 18 months. Let us internally domesticate things. Then medium to long term for this country, the next thing, you look at the gas master plan, do something about it. Implement it so that we will have enough gas to power the country. Then another thing, joint ventures. Nigeria needs to be paying her own part of the joint venture agreement so that the international oil companies will do their jobs. Then we should also plan by the year 2020. The plan before was we are going to have 40 billion barrels and be producing at least 4 million barrels per day. All these are possible. Then at that point, you can decide, you can commercialize, you can regulate or do whatever to the oil and gas industry. Then the revenue streams that are coming to the NNPC in this case, tie them. The equity crude, the tax crude, the royalty crude, tie how they come in and how they exit. then check what is inside, and you have your country or economy locked down and managed.
I wish we could have more time to talk about this, Engineer BALA. Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We've been speaking with Engineer BALA SAKA. He's also a chartered accountant. Very, very thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Well, this is where we cut the show this morning. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalapeh.
And you can also reach us on any of our social media platforms. In case you want to ask more questions, you can go to facebook.com/business economy and on YouTube, youtube.com/business economy, or follow us on Twitter @BizEconomy. I am Sabena Izoukpu, and thank you very much for joining us on the show.